is probably one of the richest in technology and people that could pioneer in new technology fields, and yet we're having like the least amount of spin-off companies. I think those are actually two problems that I want to tackle when I get to Boston that I think are very important. Number one, our corporate tax, our corporate regulation, our permitting process, our employer taxes, our extra fees that have been added onto our employer taxes in the last year due to the state's efforts to duplicate their own agencies and make us pay more and more and more towards that. That's number one. We're not an inviting or a desirable state to bring your business. And, you know, there have been things that we've done, such as we've given huge incentives, such as in Fort Devens with Evergreen Solar. And look how well that worked out for us, to pick one company and put all our eggs in that basket, and now they're moving everything to Asia. We have to think of the whole picture. We can't just be dealing with isolated situations. So, first of all, let's get that to a more livable situation so that corporations feel like, yes, I could have a business in Massachusetts. Secondly, one of the things that's come to my attention, and I will admit in this case, partly due to the fact that I've been talking to people through the campaign, but partly due to the fact that as my profession as an attorney, I'm very frequently asked to help people when they feel like they're in a difficult situation. One of the situations, and I've talked to experts in the field of business law in Massachusetts, and this is becoming a hotbed issue among them, is that unlike certain other states, for example, California in particular, who had a similar type of technology kind of base of boom like we did with Silicon Valley, California does not really enforce restrictions that won't let employees get jobs after they've left a company or been laid off from a company because of a non-compete. Massachusetts enforces them more so than many other states. Now, that's not to say that there are legitimate business interests, there are trade secrets, there are confidential information, that every company that builds its own brand has the right to protect that. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is there has to be more restricted enforceability on that you don't own somebody because they worked at your company. And what people are coming to me and finding quite shocking is they got terminated. So they say, well, they can't hold me to that. And I heard one attorney that I deal with that primarily focuses in businesses and corporations, and she said, there is a specific company, two specific companies in Massachusetts that employ quite a few people, and she said they use it like a strategic weapon. You will potentially be laid off from them, and you may not be able to find work in Massachusetts without having to at least expose yourself to litigation or expose that new employer to litigation. That also prevents what was sort of the phenomenon of the old digital equipment days in this area, that people built in those technologies, and then other companies spun off from them. They can't do that anymore. There are no, we have the least amount of spin-offs based upon our technology base because they can't. So that also prevents an employer from coming into another state and saying, it doesn't have to be like computer technology, it could be other types of technology, but it's a deterrent, because if there's a hotbed of people that know something that can help you and work well in your business, you won't come here and hire them because you know you can't. They either can't leave or there's going to be some sort of litigation. I think given the economic climate that we're in, there have been two bills presented to the legislature that have been sent back to study, but I think next year I will be pushing that. I want people own all the experiences and all the skills they acquire through their own life. No company owns your totality. They may be able to keep you from doing certain things which are legitimate, But I think we need to free it up so that companies can hire people, people can start new companies, and that we start to have a climate that's just more resourceful in bringing new business into the state. And I think that's a huge thing that really has to be, and I see it time and time again, especially in my practice, of people just shaking their head, now what do I do?